This design that you see before you will change multi-item sorters forever. This multi-item sorter runs at 2 times hopper speed, can sort 64 stackables, 16 stackables, and non-stackable items. The system can sort up to 414 different items within this tiny little space over here. And this is all thanks to the introduction of Minecraft's newest feature, the Copper Golem. So yeah, welcome back to the channel, and today I will be doing a showcase and tutorial for this revolutionary contraption. If you would like to skip over the mechanics of the farm and see it working and a tutorial of it, skip to this timestamp in the video. So let's talk about this game-breaking mechanic that can create contraptions such as these. It all starts with the Copper Golem, and what a Copper Golem does is that it picks up items from its designated copper chest and searches through about 10 different chests to see if there are any matches to it, and it will then put the item in that chest. So for example, if I put these chests in here, it will look inside this chest, it will take exactly 16 chests, and it will put them in this chest over here. Now, an important thing to note is that if a chest has an item inside of it that does not match what the Copper Golem is trying to put inside it, it will look for a different chest. For example, I will once again put the chests back in the system, and it will take it to the other chest once it has looked inside this chest over here. Just like so. And if I take some white stained glass and I put it in this chest over here, you will see that the Copper Golem will find the glass piece inside of this chest and has now sorted these 16 pieces of white stained glass. Alright, and now a very important statistic when designing a multi-item sorter using these guys is knowing how fast they are able to transfer items into chests. As you can see, they transfer 16 items at a time, but also a very important thing to note is that only one Copper Golem can interact with the chest at a time. So for example, you can see that if I'm looking in this chest right now, you hear no sounds from the Copper Golem as he is not searching. For example, if I put a stack of white stained glass in this copper chest, the Copper Golem will not pick it up until I have left the chest. And the same thing applies to other Copper Golems looking in chests. So we can be certain that however long this animation takes to put the 16 pieces of glass in this chest is the exact maximum rate of transfer that we can achieve with the Copper Golem. And, luckily enough, this happens to be slightly less than 2 times hopper speed, which is about 5 items per second. And a very important detail is the slightly less. So all we have to do is filter out these 16 items that have been placed in the chest at 2 times hopper speed, and we will clear it fast enough for a new set of 16 items to be put in. Alright, so now how are we going to filter out items from these chests at 2 times hopper speed? Well, there exists a little mechanic in this game that not many people know, which is that you can lock the transfer of a hopper minecart by powering an activator rail underneath it. Just like this. So as you can see, anything I put in this chest will not transfer into this hopper minecart. Well, now that you know you can easily control hopper minecarts using an activator rail, all you have to do is hook up an item filter to this large chest over here, which will basically look for an increase in this chest's items that it has. And when that happens, it will unlock the hopper minecart and will suck out some of these items. So this is an incredibly simple filter design that should be able to take care of the job for us. So all we need to do now is set up this double chest so that it is ready to filter out items. One more very quick thing to note is that Copper Golems do not sort by item names, but rather item tags. So if I was to make filters out of sticks, for example, the Copper Golem would think that this is a normal stick and it will put any sticks that it picks up inside of this chest. So just be careful when picking an item to use as a filter in this design. So one way to go about this is making your stick storage in the very first chest, so that the Copper Golem will put the sticks always in the first chest. But another way of doing it is by taking some very unpopular item, you could say, and making that your filter item, which could be a bit of a hassle to get, but you'll know that once the system is running, there's a very low chance that there will be a match with this item in the system. But in this case, I will just use the standard stick filter item method. So what you want to do is put 3 stacks of sticks at the bottom, put in 5 sticks in this top layer, and I will get to that now as to why it has to be 5. And then once there's 5 there, you just have to put 5 over here as well. So this is the setup right here. So now why do we have 4 empty slots? Well, let's take another quick look at this hopper minecart system that we have created. So to demonstrate why we need 4 items here, let's first take a look at how the hopper minecart works in this scenario. Let's pretend that we have filled up our system as usual, and we have a full chest full of items like this. Now let's add an oak log to the items we want to filter out. And of course we need to leave 1 slot open so that the copper golem can place its items into the system. And now let's simulate a copper golem putting its 16 items into the system. So we'll take the 16 logs and we will place them here. But look at that. It has taken an extra 3 items than it was supposed to. And the reason for this is that this little system over here is not instant, as this torch has to turn off and this comparator has to detect a change in item levels in this chest. So it takes out 3 extra items than desired. But this isn't really a big issue. So now you can leave your system in this state with these first 4 items out, and you can once again place in your filter item. Now what happens is when you place in these 16 logs, it takes them out perfectly. But you might be thinking, how was that possible? We literally just saw that it took out an extra 3 items. Well, the downside to doing this is that if you put in 1 item, it doesn't detect the change. And if you put in 2 items, or 3 items, it doesn't pick it up either. But only when you get to 4 does it detect the signal change and start taking out the items. So this means that in your sorter, it's possible for an item to linger here in the first 4 slots. And this isn't the end of the world, because of course you can wait for more items to come in from the system, and it'll trigger them all to leave the system like that. But now let's say you have another 4 items that you are sorting, and inside the system we somehow managed to gather 1 oak log, 1 oak wood, and 1 stripped oak log. Now you can see why we need the 4 spaces here, because these single items begin to stack up, and you can never really get rid of them until the correct signal level is detected. So with the 4th space we can put in our last item, and it will take all 4 out, just like that. And it is a pretty much flawless system for the most part. Well, now you might be wondering, what about these 2 bad boys? Because this is a 16 stackable item, and this is an unstackable item. And in this system that is very heavily reliant on signal strength levels, just chucking in any old random sign is going to break it. Because now, as you'll see, if I put in 1 sign, it takes out way more than it's supposed to. But luckily, I have come up with a system to counteract this. But sadly, this introduces the one and only problem with the entire system. You can't put your 16 stackables with your 64 stackables. So this means that you need a separate slice for your ender pearls, your signs, and anything like that. And the same goes for your stackable items, like your swords. These all have to go within a separate slice. And I'll show you why now. So I've removed all our stick filters because these are used for the 64 stackables. And now I'm going to create a filtering system for the 16 stackables. So what we're going to use is signs actually. So I will rename our sign to filter. And I will do the same process that I did with the sticks. So I fill it all up with these first 4 slots, and I add exactly 9 items in this last slot over here. So you can put the items you want to filter out in place of the signs, and the system will work just as you would expect. So when we now place our stack of items in the front, they will all get taken out perfectly. And once again we have the same issue of having 4 different types of items, but on the 4th item it'll clear the system out once again. So yeah, this is what a filter slice looks like for the 16 stackable items. Alright, now let's talk about the slightly more complicated filter design. And this is the non-stackable items filter. But as you probably know, a trick with the copper golem is that it is also able to sort out non-stackable items. So as you can see, I will put a sword in this chest, and it will know that there is a match, and it will put the sword in the correct chest. Now, how we filter this out is, once again, we have to get rid of all the signs, and we have to create a small little redstone change. We have to put this comparator into subtract mode, place a comparator here, and fill this chest with swords, minus the first 2 slots. And this should give you a signal strength of about 13. So now what you have to do in this chest is, once again, I'm going to rename these swords to filter, just so that we know, and I will completely fill up this chest with swords, minus the first slot. Now, if we did it like we did earlier, with leaving 4 slots open, well, then we would have to wait for 4 items to trigger the system, like that. So as you can see, it works the same, but then I was thinking, this is only a problem with the hopper minecarts. Why don't I just replace this hopper minecart with a hopper like that? And it does the same thing, it locks the hopper, and it has the same effect. So now what I can do, I can fill it up all the way to the edge. Let's say I put the sword in here as our filter slot. When the copper golem comes over and places the sword in, it will detect it and filter it out. And you can put any non-stackable item in the game that you would like right over here. Alright, so now that I've covered the 3 filter types, let's talk about how we can get those items out of that hopper minecart that is sitting underneath there. It's not too complicated actually. All you really need is a hopper minecart that is split over 2 hoppers, picking up for the hopper minecart that was above it. Let me show you how to do it right now. So you're going to want to have your hoppers in line with this glass block over here, with your array of chests going down from underneath it. Now what you can do is place a wall here, place a rail, and a hopper minecart, and roll it nicely up against the wall. You can break this rail, and you can break the wall. And now I'm going to be placing a target block here instead of our deep slate that we had earlier, because if you tile these designs together, we still need this redstone to be facing into this block. So that's why I'm going to be using a target block instead of the deep slate. And in this position over here, you can just place any block that you like. And now what I'll do, you place a couple down facing pistons and get a button and give it a push. And that is all you have to do. And your hopper minecart is in place. Now you can get your activator rail, place it over here, get your torch, place it over here, put your hopper minecart over there, get your chests again, and place it on top. And now if we set up one of the filters again, whenever we place the items in the front, they will get sucked out just like that, and they will trickle in at 2 times hopper speed to this chest over here. And that is the goal of the system, because as I said earlier, copper golems can sort at a speed of 2 times hopper speed. And we have achieved that by storing our items at that speed. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the mechanics in the system. Now let's talk about the system as a whole. So first thing you might be wondering about is why I have this line of note blocks over here. And this is because, for some funny reason, when a copper golem puts items in a chest, the comparator doesn't actually pick it up. So I need to update this comparator with a note block that is getting powered above it, which is what I have done right here. So that is sadly a necessary thing I have to do in the snapshots. And if you build this at a later stage, I imagine you can get rid of this line completely. As you can see in these chests, we have the same filter standard I was talking about earlier. And over here we have our 16 stackable items. Take those out for now. And in the last thing we have our non-stackable items. And of course an unfiltered items chest at the very end. So now let's put some items in the system and see it all running. So I've got a completely mixed up inventory of items that will go into the 16 stackables, the unstackables, and the 64 stackables section. So let's give the system a try. Alright, so I'm chucking in all my items in random orders. And then as soon as I leave the chest, it will get started. So here they go. As you can see, as I said earlier, they can only do it one at a time. So every time one of these chests open, another quarter stack of items has been taken from this chest. So as you can see, they are going about their tasks. And you can see that they kind of open these chests in parallel, which is quite mesmerizing actually. And I just saw there that was our first unsorted item. And as you can see, it comes in at 2 times hopper speed. And we have all of our items sorted as per the chests above. And everything is working nice and smoothly. So now we've started getting our first signs in as well. And yeah, the system is working perfectly. Alright, so now the system has finished. And all of our copper golems are just wandering around, and all of our items are perfectly sorted as we put them in. And you can see in this chest, for example, some of these single items are still hanging around, as I showed earlier. And when the next sorting cycle starts, when any more items go into this chest, you'll see that they all get taken out, just like that. So that's nothing to worry about. So I just want to talk about the setup of the copper golems quickly. As you can see, inside each little cell, all we have is a vine and a trapdoor. And right here I have about 15 different copper golems, which I found was to be the perfect amount, so that one copper golem could go all the way to the end and get back before this chest was left hanging. So there's always a copper golem busy looking in this chest. So yes, once again, if you didn't pick it up earlier, the only very important thing to note with this system is that you need to separate your 16 stackables from your 64 stackables, like this. You cannot mix signs in with your 64 stackable items, because that will break the system. So yeah, here is a summary about the design before I get into the tutorial. So the reason that I'm doing a tutorial is that I have no schematics for this contraption yet, because this is in a snapshot and Letmatica has not been updated to this snapshot yet. So I will be doing an old-fashioned tutorial, and the material list will be in the description. So let's crack on with it. So first, make yourself a nice 15 by 8 base to work with. And then once you've made your little square, fill it up with glass or any block of your choice. Right, now starting from the left side, you want to go 2 blocks from the edge of the glass and start building your chests. And you want to build 10 double chests in a row, just like this. And there should be 1 glass block left on the side here. You can stack your chests up as much as you like, depending on how much storage you want, but I'm just going to build 3 layers of chests like you can see over there. So yeah, just go ahead and build all of those up. Alright, now comes the only tricky part of the build, and that is getting the minecarts in place. So first thing you want to do is get yourself a whole lot of temporary rails and extend a platform out like this. Get some walls, place them over here. And now you need a whole lot of rails facing into the walls like this. This can be a bit tricky to place, but over time you should get the hang of it. Also, I have some good news. This design should be fully rotational. I can't really test it right now because I have no schematics, but there is no reason for it to not work in a different rotation. So yeah, depending on the rotation, you might find setting up these rails a lot easier or a lot harder, but you just need to get lines of rails just like this. Now what you want to do, place your minecarts and push them into the wall like this. You might get a bit of resistance from them, but that is alright. Just make sure they go nicely into it and they're all in a nice straight line. Oh, this guy shifted out a bit. There we go. Alright, so now we have got all of our hopper minecarts in a nice straight line. And now what you want to do is carefully go and break all the rails that you have placed. Just like this. And this will allow all the hopper minecarts to sit nicely onto the hoppers. And now what you can do is break the walls that are behind it. But now you need to be very careful, because if you bump any of these minecarts, it will send all of them going off in the wrong direction. So you need to be very careful from this point. But now what you need to do is, being very careful, pull up a couple blocks on the side, and you now have to start placing in some downwards facing pistons. So the way I like to do this is I place 2 temporary blocks over there. I push right up against this wall so I don't touch the minecart, and I place my 2 pistons. Now I place a target block in the back and a white stained glass in the front. So now you are welcome to push these down 1 minecart at a time, but I think it's a lot easier to just do them all in one go. So if you've got the extra pistons lying around, just follow like this. So push up against the wall, 2 pistons, target block, and glass block. Now repeat this process until you have reached the end. Alright, now you have all your pistons in place, and now what you can do is, you can break this layer for starters, because you will not need that anymore, and you can pull it up to the pistons. Now you can break these temporary blocks and get yourself a few buttons. Now all you have to do is place a button, and that will trigger the 3 pistons around it, and then you go over here, place a button, it'll trigger this piston, this piston, this piston, and this piston, and then just keep doing an alternating pattern like this. And now if you take a look below, everything is nicely covered up and nothing decided to run away. So now you can break these pistons, and break some of these blocks over here too. Alright, so now you have to place in some more hopper minecarts, which also are a bit of a headache, but it's not too bad to do. So what you want to do is place a line of glass blocks like this, and get some activator rails. And you're going to want to place them in a straight line like you did earlier. But depending on where you're facing, this might be easier or might be harder. But all you got to do is get them facing straight. Okay, now you can break all of these. So now you're going to place in some more hopper minecarts. And now once again, you have to make sure it's nice and squished up against the edge. And do that for all of them. You also have to be very careful that they don't decide to run away again, so you kind of have to stand halfway in between the rails so that they stay in place. Just like this. Alright. Now you have a nice line of hopper minecarts once again. Now all you have to do is place a whole lot of redstone torches like this, and go a few blocks down and place a line of glass blocks just like this. Get yourself some redstone, comparators for later, and line them up like this. Get yourself a solid block, place it on the back here, and put some redstone on that as well. Get some more glass blocks, place it above the redstone like this, And you can put your comparators on these glass blocks. And these comparators have to be facing into some solid blocks as well. Alright, now we can get our chests. Oh, I already have one. Anyways, we place our chests like this. 8 double chests on top of each hopper minecart. Oh yes, you actually do not have to place in this last line of redstone. And you actually do have to remove this torch. So yeah, do not place in this last line of redstone over here, because this is your unfiltered items chest. And now if you want your last filter to be a unstackable item filter, all you have to do is branch out a couple blocks this way, place a comparator going in, put a chest over here, fill it with some unstackable item like some swords, and fill it all the way up, leaving 2 slots open over here, and make this be a subtraction mode comparator. Just like this. And whichever one of these other slots you would like to have for your 16 stackable items, all you have to do is get a hopper and replace your hopper minecart with that hopper. Just like that. And you can do that on any one of these slots, but I've just decided to do it in the second last slot over here. And the rest of these are all going to be for your 64 stackable items. Alright, continuing on, we're going to place some glass blocks over here, sticking 1 block off the edge. Just like this. And you want to cap it off at the end here. And add an extra on this side and cap it off on the end here too. You're going to want to get your copper chest, maybe a waxed one to look nice, and you want to put it right over there. I'm going to get some vines, all these twisting vines, or the weeping vines. Weeping vines are a little bit harder to put in, but either of these two work, but I'll be using vines for now. So I just line them like this. And I'm going to put some temporary blocks up here to place the trapdoors. And you just place bottom facing trapdoors all along like that. Alright, now you want to get yourself some note blocks, some redstone, and an observer. You want to place these note blocks above all of your comparators. Place an observer over here with a solid block, and then just redstone all across the tops, just like this, and then give it a little pulse to start it up. Or you could put a lever on the back here, just like that, if you want to stop it from flickering. But whenever the farm is running, whenever the contraption is running, you need to have this lever turned off, like that. Alright, now getting these copper golems in might be a little bit of a mission. So what I'm going to do is cover up these sides over here, take a piece of copper, take a carved pumpkin, place like this, and quickly break the chest below it. And now you're going to want to do this 15 times in total, so you need 15 carved pumpkins. And you just do this over and over again. So yeah, make sure you have 15 or more copper golems in here sitting just like this, and then you can cap it off with a trapdoor and break the surrounding glass blocks just like that. Now you have to set up your filter system. So now you can grab yourself any stackable item that you would like to use as your filter. I will be using sticks personally. So in some filters you would use a non-stackable item in this corner over here. But in this case, on the rare occasion that a copper golem has the same item that is put here and then loads it into the system, it will actually break the system and you will lose a few of your items over here. So in this case, do not do that and just stick to whatever 64 stackable item we decided to use as your filter. So we're gonna go 3 stacks over there, 5 over here, and then just drag this guy along all the way to the top, leaving 4 empty slots over here. And just go ahead and do that for all of the spots in the filter. Alright, so now for your 16 stackable item filter, you're going to want to grab yourself any 16 stackable item that you would like to use as your filter. I will just be using a normal oak sign. And once again, I will name this filter just so that I don't get confused. And now what you're going to want to do is put 9 of these in the corner over here. And then once again, just drag these throughout the whole chest as before. Leaving these 4 slots in the front here as usual. Alright, so that's that one. And now for your non-stackable items chest. Naming these guys isn't completely necessary, so all I'm gonna do is fill it up with wooden swords, just like that. And now to test each of your systems, just chuck in 16 items to check if they're working, and then just go ahead and do this, putting the corresponding item in the correct chests. Alright, so everything is working nicely, and now all you have to do is hook up all your chests to the correct items that you want to filter, keeping in mind that the 16 stackables only belong in the 16 stackable chest, and you do not mix any signs with the other chests over here. So as a quick test, I will put in a single oak log over here, and now all you have to do is chuck in, well, first you got to make sure the system is on. And now I will just chuck in a couple stacks of oak logs over here, just to check that the system is working fine. So now you can see these guys are working away, and your oak logs are getting sorted nicely. And you can see them coming up through the bottom over here, just like that. So yeah, just like that, you have yourself a quick and easy multi-item sorter that works perfectly and can even sort non-stackable items. So yeah, once again, the material list will be in the description, the world download will also be in the description, and yeah, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and yeah, spread the word on this beautiful contraption. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.